parts of you, young childlike parts of you, that have been like, whenever you have ADHD symptoms, they're like, okay, we need to drink alcohol right now, right? To keep us safe. And if we take away the alcohol, all of a sudden, you're going to feel unsafe. Those parts are going to feel unsafe. And if you've not done the work on self-regulation, if you've not done the work of healing your wounds, of actually having conversations with your ego, with your shadow side, with your inner child, like if you've not done any of that, and why would you if alcohol is the panacea of all your problems when you've got ADHD, then why would you want to quit, right? You just get stuck. Welcome to the 1000 Day Sober podcast. My name is Davy. I am not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone who lives a self-led life, alcohol-free as fuck, and I spend every single waking moment of my life helping other people do the same, like right now. This is another episode of the daily 1000 Days Sober podcast, and today we're going to be talking about ADHD, alcohol, and the real path to freedom. So, new research suggests that 1 in 5 people who use alcohol suffer from ADHD. So, if you have ADHD and drink, is alcohol actually helping, or is it making things worse? Well, in my 15 years of working with people who suffer from alcohol reliance, I have actually seen firsthand that there are many, many people with ADHD that use alcohol as a crutch. But here's the thing. Alcohol isn't solving the problem. It is masking it. And today I'm going to help you understand why, and more importantly, how you can break free from it using the Strive method. So first, onto the study. The study, another tongue twister, the link between ADHD and alcohol use, prevalence, and underlying mechanisms was published in Addiction Research and Theory a few days ago in 2025. That's where we are today. Conducted by researchers from Karolinska Institute in Sweden. And here are the main findings of that study. 1 in 5 people who use alcohol meet the criteria for ADHD. 1 in 5 people who use alcohol meet the criteria for ADHD. Now, to put that in perspective, though, the World Health Organization believes around 52% of the global population drinks alcohol. If you were to look around at your sphere of influence and you pick 20 of the people you spend the most time with, I would say 90% of them probably drink alcohol. So 1 in 5 people who use alcohol meeting the criteria for ADHD. I mean, come on, you know. Individuals with ADHD, they are more likely to use alcohol as a way to manage impulsivity, emotional regulational difficulties, and sensory overload. And it also revealed that alcohol provides a temporary relief from ADHD symptoms, but it does worsen executive function over time, right? Which means that you have more impulsive decisions and increased risk of dependency the more you drink alcohol. Now, this is like a key kind of problem when it comes to alcohol reliance and becoming alcohol free as fuck, right? Is that I know, and anybody who becomes alcohol free as fuck, they can tell you that alcohol has no value. And it's one of these weird things, unfortunately, that you need to get to a point where you're not drinking to be like, oh, actually, all the value that I thought alcohol was giving me, it actually doesn't give it to me. Like, you need to be sober, you need to be alcohol free as fuck, you need to be free of it to be able to realize that that is the truth, that is what is going on. The biggest con and why we keep ourselves stuck, and people like to keep themselves stuck because alcohol has so much perceived value to them, is they look at the short-term gains. So they'll argue that, well, of course it gives me value, it gives me short-term value, but you need to change your perspective. You need to switch your lens and the filter for which you're looking at this problem and realize that those short-term gains really don't mean shit if long-term it's worsening the situation. Okay, but why do ADHD sufferers turn to alcohol? Well, first of all, it's the illusion of relief. Alcohol slows down a racing mind, right? It dulls sensory overload. It takes the edge off frustration, anxiety, stress, but it is a trade-off, right? One that steals more than it gives. There's also this cycle of self-medication, right? The more you rely on alcohol for relief, the less likely you're even going to bother to attempt the skills and to embody what it means to regulate your own nervous system, regulate your own emotions without alcohol, right? So it's a loop that keeps you stuck because you don't know any other way, right? And why it's hard to stop? Well, if drinking feels like the only way to function normally, so your ADHD symptoms are so challenging for you, and the only relief that you have is actually drinking alcohol, and the world out there is telling you that actually this really does help as well, then quitting, right? Stopping, becoming alcohol free as fuck. It isn't just about removing the alcohol, right? It's about you having to learn to live life very differently. Because imagine if you've been using alcohol as a way to medicinally deal with your ADHD, and all of a sudden we're going to take it away from you. That's going to scare the shit out of you, right? Using internal family systems theory as an example, there will be parts of you, young childlike parts of you, that have been like, whenever you have ADHD symptoms, they're like, okay, we need to drink alcohol right now, right? To keep us safe. And if we take away the alcohol, all of a sudden you're going to feel unsafe. Those parts are going to feel unsafe. And if you've not done the work on self-regulation, if you've not done the work of healing your wounds, of actually having conversations with your ego, with your shadow side, with your inner child, like if you've not done any of that, and why would you if alcohol is the panacea of all your problems when you've got ADHD, then why would you want to quit, right? You just get stuck. It's really, really, really difficult when you believe this shit is real, okay? We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, I'm going to talk about the real issue, which, of course, you already know is a liquid lie. Okay, so ADHD and the liquid lie. So society sells alcohol as your solution to everything. And in this case, with ADHD, the solution is relaxation, confidence, connection, right? But the liquid lie tells us that alcohol is necessary for these things, but is it really true, right? Well, I don't think that people with ADHD drink alcohol initially because it's a cure-all to their symptoms, right? I believe people with ADHD drink alcohol because, as Seth Godin always says, people like us do things like this. If you were raised to believe that drinking alcohol is not just incredibly valuable, but is one of the best pastimes that God, universe, Allah, Buddha ever created, right? Like, if you think it's that great, and come on, like, how many of you can't wait for the weekend so you can go out and get smashed, or you can't wait to get home from work so you can have a drink of wine or a couple of bottles of bud or whatever it is, right? If we really put this much value into drinking alcohol, and we drink it to such a degree that it becomes a normal part of our daily life, why wouldn't ADHD sufferers be drinking alcohol? Right? Let's get to the root cause of this problem. The root cause of why we're drinking alcohol, right? It's not because suddenly we need it, right, to deal with some of our symptoms. It's because of the liquid lie that we believe that drinking alcohol is nice, natural, normal, necessary, and noble. And we believe that from birth. And our system of life indoctrinates us into believing that, right? And part of that system, part of that liquid lie, right, including studies and articles, the one that I'm referencing, is that if we read something that says actually alcohol really kind of does help with ADHD symptoms, then we're going to continue to do it. All right, it becomes a convenient aid, right? But we gotta change the lens, like I said, from thinking about short-term gratification to long-term pleasure or pain, right? So long-term, alcohol reduces dopamine sensitivity. It makes ADHD symptoms worse. It lowers impulse control. It fragments focus. It doesn't solve the problem. It deepens it, right? So how does the Strive method help you here, right? Well, first of all, we help you to understand the real need here, right? You don't crave alcohol, right? If you're suffering from ADHD and you're using it, you're not craving alcohol, you're craving calmness, you're craving clarity, you're craving control. What I would say, you're craving the self-led life, you're craving being in self. So once you identify the real need, that I want calm, clarity, control, I want to be in self, you can meet it differently, right? And we can help you do that. A big part of the Strive method is managing your nervous system and emotional regulation, right? So ADHD brains need structure. And if alcohol has been your way of creating that, you need to replace it with new strategies: meditation, movement, deep work, inner child work, healing, parts work, right? learning to expand your window of tolerance, just learning to get out of your head and into your body and understand what it feels like when you're anxious, feels like when you're stressed. Managing nervous system, really important. Step 3, working with your parts, not against them, right? You drinking alcohol isn't a failure, all right? It's a strategy. And in the Strive method, we help you to identify the part of your psyche that is using that strategy to keep you safe. So then you can communicate with it and try to find a more healthier way, a more holistically healthier way of choosing a strategy that doesn't involve alcohol, right? And it's not until you do this work, it's not until you just take a big deep breath and you feel the craving and you get through it that you realize, holy shit, I didn't need alcohol. I never did need alcohol, right? And now you also need to challenge a liquid lie. So this is what the Strive method does, right? Because the biggest shift will come when you realize you don't need alcohol to deal with your ADHD. You don't. There will be countless people out there just like you who have symptoms like you or symptoms worse than you that don't drink alcohol and they manage their way through it, right? So you've got to stop thinking that quitting alcohol, becoming alcohol free as fuck, is a loss. And you've got to start looking at it like it is freedom. Okay? All right. Today's vow. I will not drink today. I will not drink today because I see that alcohol isn't helping my ADHD. It is making it worse. Okay? So if you have ADHD and you drink alcohol and it's a problem and you think you're alcohol reliant, you don't need another round. You need a different way, and the Strive method could be that way, right? So help spread the message. If this episode resonated with you, send it around. Please rate, review it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Email me at thestrivemethod@gmail.com if you've got any comments or quotes, you've got any questions. If you're interested in taking the Strive method, in particular, our free Stuck. So you get a free week and you get into the community and you get to look at the workshops and understand a little bit more about the liquid life, free of charge, of course, then email me at thestrivemethod@gmail.com. Okay? Okay, without further ado, I'm going to bugger off. I'll see you tomorrow. Again, same time, same place. Much love and strive on.